Here we go, fellas. Episode 14, the California Girls Wrestling Podcast. Want to thank everybody for following us on iTunes and Google Play. Everybody who's subscribing to us, giving us 5-star ratings. Thank you. All of you who still follow us on YouTube. Had some pretty good feedback from people this weekend. Without further ado, let's get right to it. We are very, very lucky. We have one of California's many junior world team members this year. She's a SoCal girl. She grew up in the Southern Section, Palmdale, California's finest, Eastside High School's only state champion, Miss Diamond Guilford. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hello.
All righty. Josh and Bowers, you want to say your hellos before we get started?
Of course, she's the only girl from the west side, went to east side.
Awesome. Diamond. How you doing, Diamond? He's asking.
Oh, okay. I'm doing really good right now. Just came from work. Finally closed out. It was cool.
Oh, man. World team member still has to work, guys. Go figure, huh? Don't think that happens too many in other sports, but okay.
That's the life we all know. Hey, that's the life of the student athlete, man, in college, especially. Student athlete, man.
So
they don't call us starving students for nothing.
Yeah, that SS for the Southern Section just carries over to starving students. So, Diamond, why don't you give us a little bit of basic information for those that are new to the joy of meeting Diamond Guilford. Diamond's one of the people that, like, honestly, everybody loves everything about her except for who her coach was in high school. That was pretty much it. But Diamond, give everybody a little bit of insight, who you are, where you come from, all that good stuff.
Hi, my name is Diamond Guilford. I come from Los Angeles, California. Well, to be specific, Lancaster, California. And I am a junior world team member and a wrestler. And that's my basic info.
How does that feel, Diamond, to be able to say you're a world team member?
That's actually pretty crazy because I remember when I was at state and I found out that Gracie Figueroa was on the junior world team. And I was like, wow, like that's like so high up. And now I'm here. I'm like, I'm so high up. What is this? So yeah.
No, that's awesome. So give everybody a little bit of background about you. Like, when did you start wrestling?
I started wrestling when I was 16 years old. That was about a little over 2.5 years ago. And that was back in junior year of high school.
Okay. And it was just, like what got you out there? What was it that kind of, and you started as a junior, like you had a freshman and sophomore year, you didn't wrestle. What happened? What sparked you? Those kinds of things.
Well, honestly, I didn't know women's wrestling was very much a thing. I had seen WWE men's wrestling, and that's just about how much I knew about it. But my sister, Precious Bell, she wrestles 170s in college right now. She introduced me to it. She was like, hey, I want you to come to some of these practices and, like, get acquainted with it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just do what my sister's doing. And then afterwards, after a few practices and a few like matches, I actually really liked it. I liked having getting that new sense of control of my body and stuff like that. So like it was pretty cool. And
how did your first year end up for you though?
Oh, my first year I ended up taking 8th at Southern Section. Not Southern Section, at state. And like that was because I got pulled out of the tournament because I hurt my right shoulder at the time. So like that was kind of like a cool turning point for me because I was like, I got taken out of the tournament and I still got 8th place. Like, what if I dedicate myself to this? So that's how it really just started.
So how was it though? Because your junior year, you were in the finals at Southern Section, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, here you are coming off cold on the mat, and here you are in the largest section in the state, and you're in the finals. I mean, I'm sure at that point you didn't really realize the gravity of that.
I realized how like big it was at the moment. In my mind, I was just like, okay, every 2 weekends I have a tournament. Like I just got to prepare for this and this and this. And like, yeah, it was just like a new place to do the tournament at. at the time.
And you won the tournament your first year out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your second year, you go out there and you drop a hard match, right? I mean,
Yeah.
year, you dropped a hard match to a returning state placer, I believe, from Baldwin Park. You know, and then you regroup and you go out there and you win it when it matters. I mean, really had a good tournament. Had some tough girls out there. You know, the girl from Palo Alto, the girl from Tokay. You know, you had a pretty tough road going into the state finals, and then you get a girl from right there by Bowers area, roosing in the finals. You know, and then you turn it around there. So that's pretty interesting. You know, to see you make that incline. You know,
all these beautiful memories coming back to light. It's like, wow.
Yeah, you're beyond that now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, and that's right in Josh's backyard, huh, Josh?
Yeah, that's crazy. Started as a junior in high school at 16 years old and goes in places after pulling out, and then wins it the next year. That's amazing. So, Diamond, when was the point in your wrestling career in high school where you're like, you turn the corner and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of good at this? What was the tournament you won, or the match that took place, even if you won or lost? What was that point where you just said, I might have something special here?
I honestly never looked at myself and said, wow, I'm good at this. A turning point in like how I wanted to win my matches and get like to a higher level within wrestling was definitely after state, when I got pulled out of the tournament. And like I was like, okay, if I really just dedicate myself to this, I can really get a state title. And like at the time, like my mind didn't really think past that. I didn't know about like nationals and worlds at the time. So like I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna really just dedicate my weekends, my social life in the trash. I was like, I need this state title. So that was the real turning point if I had to look back.
Well, people too, I don't think realize that Diamond didn't really have a coach.
Yeah.
Going into all this, you know, and Jimmy, I know Jimmy jumped in at times and got her seated, stuff like that. I know, you know, Matt Furr jumped in at times and, you know, worked on getting her seated, stuff like that, helped out. Kind of a big community effort because Diamond is Diamond. I mean, am I right, Jimmy? Like,
hey man, we all knew, the ones that knew her and paid attention to her knew that she was something special. Most humble, most respectable young athlete out there. And, you know, a lot of people that didn't want to pay attention because they had horses in the race, if you will, right? And then we knew who the dark horse was, and that was ready just to slap people around. We were going to say, I had to back her up and step up. And because a lot of, like you said, a lot of people, even from last year, I mean, the year before, when of course she had the default out, right? People didn't really take that as a threat, and I did. I already knew who she was, so she deserved it. She deserved for us to be able to be in her corner and say, hey man, this young lady is gonna do some damage. And shame on those that didn't pay attention to her, because she was gonna end up taking them out anyways, you know. So yeah. She deserved it.
I think probably one of my favorite stories was we're at state and Diamond got done wrestling this girl whose dad was her coach, and mom was aggressive in the stands, you know, and they were upset. You know, Diamond won the match, and the parents walked by and they're kind of being, you know, a little chirpy, you know, and so we just turned away, you know, and then Diamond ran to the bathroom real quick, and the mom goes in after Diamond, and I'm thinking like, oh man, like here we go, you know, something's gonna happen. And they come out and they're like buddy. And it's like, it's just a testament to like how Diamond really is as a person. Yeah. They're like heated and came out like just like hugging Diamond and just like, you know, loving Diamond. It's like, God, that's the kind of person that she is, kind of infectious, you know.
Right. She gonna beat you up, and then she gonna pick you up and give you a hug and say, hey girl, you did awesome. I hope I see you next time. That's the type of girl Diamond was, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I just it's just funny to see that, But I mean, and Jimmy, that was like in your backyard too. A lot of those tournaments were in your backyard. The Southern Section qualifiers in your backyard. A lot of the tournaments
Yep.
Diamond goes to. I know Diamond goes to church out that way too. So I mean, she's in that area. Was a lot. Uh, you know, but what I mean, what do you got for her, Jimmy?
Well, my question is what was your preparation leading up to the UWW Texas and the World Team Trials, and how did they differ for you?
So, well, okay, we're talking about the Texas Trials from this past year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My preparation leading up to to the Texas Trials is that it was really one-on-one with me and my coach at that moment. Like, me and him just worked on the same thing over and over. Repetition was key. And then just working on my mental toughness. Like, that was like the key to like getting on the world team. And then I went to the tournament, and like nothing anybody could say was like phasing me. And they're like, oh, you have to go up against this girl. You remember when this girl beat you last year, this and that. And I was like, I don't care. Like, I know I've been putting in this hard work, and I know what I have to do. Right. And then I got to the finals match. I did my 2 out of 3 and I won it. And it was like a tremendous moment for me. And I got to finally like take the picture with the stop sign. It was really nice. And then leading up to the junior world trials or competition, like that was actually much harder. Because of all the regulations and rules that we have for the college girls right now, it was much harder to get in contact with my coach up until about 2 weeks before the tournament. So like, it just felt like everything was more rushed, and it wasn't really time to settle down, focus in. And like, even just going to Worlds and being on that stage, like, was a different type of atmosphere to me. So like, next World Trials, I'll be World Championship or competition, I'll be more prepared. But like, it was just something unexpected.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, you couldn't have you couldn't have had a tougher draw. You had the young lady from Japan who was the UWW U23 champ. I mean, just a tough draw, overall, and it's got to be tough for you to look at that and just kind of try to grow off of it when, you go into your first world championships and you're like, okay, let's see how this goes, and then I mean, some mistakes made, but I mean, how do you rebuild off of that? I mean, you had a tough draw, tough match, you ended up losing. Unfortunately, it didn't pull you back in the repechage. So how do you build off of that?
The only thing that I could do is, first of all, I don't think about how she was the world champion or anything like that. I try not to let that be a type of excuse for me to be like, oh, well, of course I didn't take the match for myself. She was a world champion and stuff like that. No, I nitpick everything that I did in that match, everything that I did do, everything that I didn't do, and I go over it. And not only that, I'm going to go back and watch all the other girls' matches, because those are my future competitors too, just to see what they're doing and what I know I need to do against them and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I mean, how did it feel to go through and, I mean, here you are on the world team now, but let's go back a year, and you're a Fargo runner-up, you're a body bar runner-up, and now you're finally at the point where you get to, like you said, I mean, we took some pretty good pictures of those stop signs. I mean,
yeah, those were really good.
Yeah, and I mean, in Texas, I mean, how did that feel, like getting over that hump, I know you lost. Didn't you lose this to the girl you beat?
Yeah.
So the year before, you lost.
The year before at my first body bar tournament, I lost my finals match 1 to 11. Like she teched me with ease. But then coming back, in my finals match for this current body bar, and like I'm blowing through the breeze. And like I was just proud to see the progress. I was proud to see how much I had learned over the year. Cause like now I look back to that first match from body bar when I first got there, and there were things I just didn't know how to do. And then like just to see that growth, it's always inspiring, because then you can always say, oh, even though I lost now, like it doesn't mean I can't grow from it and learn from it.
Yeah. What do you got, Josh?
Well, I love to hear the fact that she's like the tenacity of how she wants to study all her future opponents. And I mean, she's like a student of the sport, which is awesome. You don't get that a lot. I mean, the real high level guys and girls, you do find that, but that's awesome. What is wrestling given you as far as the opportunities that you've been given, and
Wrestling's given me
what has it done for
much.
younger girls?
Wrestling's given me just so much. First of all, it gave me hope. Like before wrestling, I didn't really know what I was gonna do with my life. Like, sure, college was like a faint option in my mind, but like what I really wanted to do. Yeah, I was a cheerleader, but I just didn't have any like real ambition or anything to be passionate about. And then I got into wrestling, and I just like I really like the feel. I liked all the benefits it gave me. I lost like 30 pounds through it my first like year being in it. And then I got my college scholarship for wrestling. Like that's carrying me through college right now. That's like a blessing in my eyes. And just the ability, and what also wrestling has given me is the ability to meet new people. Like I'm thankful every time I get to go to a tournament and meet somebody new from a different school. And like I just like I am on Instagram, I comment on their posts and stuff like that. I'm like, oh hey, how you doing? And like I'm a very social person, so like it just gives me happiness. So yeah.
Well, you give us happiness too, just so you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How has since you started wrestling, how has your mentality changed?
I've learned that you have to be intentional about everything you do and for everything you want, because like nothing's gonna really be handed to you, and that's like something. And I've seen a lot of kids and a lot of people my age like expect things to be handed to them, and like not have to work as much for them, and then complain when they don't get the same things that people who worked for what they have. So like it's taught me stuff. It's taught me things like that. And I think that's really important, because now as I grow up and I become an adult, I enter like the job market and stuff like that, then I'll have that mindset of, oh, I got to work for this. If I want to get what I want, I got to get this. I got to work for it. So yeah.
Well, I think your dad probably had a big hand in that too, with that mentality, that mindset, because you work, girl. I mean, if anybody thinks that Diamond got away on strictly her natural ability, you don't know Diamond. I'm gonna tell you right now, Diamond was the girl doing pull-ups and push-ups. Like your dad said, he had a Ferrari but no driver. And she always put in the work. She always put in the work, but she like, there was so much behind that, and just trying to be a leader. But what is your coach's early on stress that you find true now, or like something that you realize like, okay, that's why they were saying what they were saying, or that's why they pushed the way they pushed, or that's why they would say like, if they could scream, they can breathe, or if they could, those kinds of things. Like what are some of those things that kind of resonate with you now that you're at the next level?
Yeah. If they could scream, they could breathe is like the funniest saying, because it's true. Like sometimes you'll get in matches where girls want to get out of it because of how intense you come in, and like they'll scream to get out of it. And like that's if they could scream, they could breathe, which means like they can still wrestle. So
I agree.
So that's something that still rumbles through the back of my mind as I'm wrestling, and it still kind of just makes me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, that's always something I think, I mean, what about you guys? You guys, Jimmy and Josh, like, what's something that your coaches back in the day, told you, put inside of you that, like, for some reason now, like, clicks, or like
Well,
important to
what
pass
I've
on to kids?
what I've always told my kids is something my college coach Dan Lewis at Cal State Fullerton told me. He said there's a difference, and that some might sound cliche because we use it a lot now, but they say there's a difference between being injured and being hurt, right? When my wrestlers have their little aches and pains in the middle of practice when we're pretty intense, and they come to me, hey coach, I don't think I can do this because I'm sore or whatever. I just tell them, okay, so this is a state championship match. This is a state title right here. You're in that match right there. Are you going to tell me the same thing? You're going to say, hey, coach, I just can't finish that match? Or are you really hurt that you really can't go on? Would you wrestle? Would you really wrestle right now in the state finals match right now? And when they say yes, get your ass back in there and finish off your state title match. That's what I tell them. And then they go and wrestle, and then they're done for the day. I say, see, look, you got through it. But, I mean, if you're really injured, you can't do stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about for you, Josh?
That's what's always.
Josh has been in some pretty big rooms, man. Josh has been in Calgary. He's been in, Minnesota. I mean, what's some things that kind of resonate with you, or sayings, or just
two things that resonate in my mind is it's going to be uncomfortable for you, but you got to make them more uncomfortable. Like, you have to take them to the limit and then a little more. And the other thing is just as far as drilling and stuff, have to be able to hit that particular move in the state finals of state. It has to be that good that you have to be able to hit that move in the state finals of state and be successful with it. That's how many times you have to drill it. It's not a couple times. It's tens of thousands of times. And it has to be perfect drilling.
Wait, before we move on from that, I wanted to say a really beautiful thing that I heard one of my college coaches, Colton Smith or Schultz. And something that he said to me recently within the last few weeks is to be uncommon amongst uncommon people. So as he explained it to me, it's that other sports and other people look at wrestlers as already uncommon. Like, why do they run so many miles? Why are they putting their bodies against each other and stuff like that, right? Well, we're already uncommon, but you need to be uncommon amongst that. You need to go above and beyond and show your vigor, show that you have what it takes to the grit, really, to go above and beyond. And that's what makes people like Jordan Burroughs and Helen Morales so great, is because they're uncommon. So yeah.
No, that's true.
I'm gonna write that down.
I tell wrestlers all the time, like, wrestlers aren't mortal. I don't care what you tell me. You put a wrestler and any other sport, same person, same size, even within 15 pounds, 20 pounds, wrestler's gonna come out on top. It just doesn't matter. We're not mortal. That's just how. So, and especially in today's day and age when everything is so easy and so quick in terms of gratification, you got to have a different kind of mindset to be out there and just say, look, I'm going to put this grind on, and and I don't even think like kids nowadays really know like what the grind is. It's not until you get those elite kids that they really know like what the grind is, and you see it today. I mean, today we had a takedown tournament and we saw the new kids, and you said the ones that are the new kids that are just kind of breaking, and you're like, oh man, I hope they gut it out. And then you see those kids that are new and they get up quick every time and they're right back in the center, and no matter how many times you take that kid down, they're boom, they're right back up there. And you look and you're just like, yeah, that kid's gonna be around for a minute,
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But Diamond, one of the last questions we have for you. So what are your goals? Like, what were your goals, coming out of high school, your senior year? Like we said, you got past Fargo, came out a runner-up in that. what are your goals then, and what are your goals now?
Well, coming off high school, I have much different frame of focus of what wrestling was. I thought that wrestling ended in college, and then like the people who went above and beyond went to the Olympics, right? But now I know that there are small steps in between, like juniors and then seniors, like that I've experienced like junior worlds and stuff like that. And now I know about like the senior level. Oh I have my views and my wants have like changed in a way. So now I'm looking for those world titles. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for right now. So yeah.
So do you think too that going away from home to go to school has broadened that perspective also? Because I mean, you hear a lot of kids, and it's tough. It's tough to leave home. I mean, you got a good family, it would be real easy to stay home and just do your thing, But do you think to school kind of broaden that perspective for you and helped you find that?
Yeah, definitely. Just like being able to, I said I'm a social butterfly. I like going out and meeting new people. And with meeting new people and being in this new area, like I have wrestling fanatics all around me. And it's really funny sometimes because then they'll come up to me, they're like, oh, do you know this person, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, but you can tell me about them. And then my wrestling mind grows along with them. So, like, it's really cool. And like it's really nice to have like a set team. Like in high school, like they, as you guys said, a Ferrari with nobody to drive it. Like I didn't even have like other Ferraris around me at the time. Like it was just I was the only girl in my high school to wrestle. So like now I have other girls who also wrestle, and we're all like buff and out here doing our thing, and it's like kind of beautiful to have like a community of women to wrestle with. So yeah.
So let's kind of segue that, if you don't mind, Diamond. I'd like to keep you on for this question that we got from a parent. And of course, Josh and Jimmy, we want your guys' perspective also. But a parent who has a child who's going to be coming into high school, not this year, but in the coming years, they're talking about how do they decide which high school is best for their kid? Like, what are some things that factor in? And the reason that I want to bring you into this, Diamond, is because
Mhm.
you're at Eastside. Thank God for the coach who stepped in. I mean, yeah, Hemingway's awesome. And he stepped in and really allowed you to find coaches, even though he was the coach on paper, didn't block you or anything like that. But you could have went anywhere else because, like you said, you were the only girl on the team. You're the only Ferrari
Mhm.
in the shop, in the garage. And, you know, you could have picked anywhere. What factors went into deciding what was best for Diamond? Like, how are you able to decide that staying at Eastside was going to be the best thing for you, despite the fact that you didn't have a coach, you didn't have a team?
Just for like personal reference, I was thinking about switching high schools for my senior year of high school because I wanted to train with the more elite schools, but my high school decided to let a certain teacher who ran the FCA group at my school lead the wrestling club, and that's why I was able, and that's why I stayed because my family knew him, we knew him, and we were able to like go and able to go out and find other coaches to coach me while under his care. And from my personal experience, find an environment for your child in which your child will thrive. Like that's the best. That literally speaks for on the mat and off the mat. Because if you go to school with a great program and yet like off the mat they're not being encouraged to stay on their grades and focus on keeping their mind right for the matches and their body right for the matches, then they're going to be in trouble when it comes to actually going to the tournaments and everything, because they can perform well at practice. You can perform well at practice all you want to, but if you do not have your surroundings, your environment in an equally sharp environment, then you're gonna fail. That's the problem. So like put your child in an environment in which he will thrive. That's all
So,
my advice.
so for you, like for instance, like you have a parent who only their daughter's going to be the only one on the team.
Hmm.
What made it possible for you to be successful still, despite being the only one? Like that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? That's not typical. You know what I'm saying? Like, Josh's daughter's in a room full of really good coaches, but she's the only girl. So she kind of, I think, probably at times too, is like, well, I'm the only girl here. But I think she likes it though, huh, Josh? She likes being the only girl on the lineup.
Yeah, she kind of does.
Yeah, she's not as social as Diamond. I don't think many people are as social as Diamond. But what allowed you to be successful, Diamond?
Oh, okay. So since I was the only girl in the room, what allowed me to be successful is that every weekend I went to the Somar tournaments and I got to wrestle girls from across California. Like I got to see like different weight classes, different sizes, different shapes, and different types of wrestling by going to these tournaments like every weekend. Like literally that was my game plan the whole summer long. Like every weekend I was going to a different tournament at a different venue and like getting a feel for wrestling women. And then I would just go home and I would write in my little book. I'm like, okay, what do we need to work on? And then I would go and practice with you guys and come back to tournaments and try to do that new move or get another takedown or stop from being taken down. So like that's what really helped.
Nice. What about for you, Josh? I mean, your daughter goes to Esperanza. I know being in Orange County, you probably have all the money in the world to just do whatever you guys want because Orange County is just filled with those filthy rich people. So I mean, and you're Anaheim Hills. I mean, right there. So how did you make that decision for yourself and for your daughter?
Our decision was based on I was on the coaching staff before she was in high school, so she kind of was in the room a little bit, got comfortable with the coaches. And the boys that she'd be training with. I think as a parent of a boy or girl, I think the two most important things are coaching and practice partners. That's what's going to make you better. I mean, you could have the best coach in the world, and if you don't have anybody to work out with, you're just going to work out with a 180-pound male coach that might have been a Division I All-American. You're probably not going to get that much better because you're not getting that live repetition that you need. And on the other hand, you could have not good coaching and a bunch of good practice partners, and you're probably going to get the same better. But to have those two together is really the key. And there's other little factors I think that go along with that. Environment, the quality of the school, the school spirit for a whole team. Some girls really want that whole team bonding experience. And then it can hit you the other way. I see boys more than girls because you see a boy transfers to Selma, let's say, and can't make the lineup. You have to worry about that too. You're going to be a junior or senior. You're the third, fourth. Poway is huge with that. You're the fourth best kid in the state, and you ain't cracking the lineup because you got a better guy above you and a better guy below you. And it's you got to keep those things in mind too. What do you think, Jim?
Jimmy, what do you think?
Well, I can take it both ways. I mean, again,
we know.
Of course, I'm fair. I mean, I love having having a group of kids that can all work out together. But like I think Diamond and Josh both said it. But if they feel comfortable that they're going to get what they need, even if they're the only one or if there's only a few kids there at their school, but they're getting what they need and they're getting the support they need. Like if they're willing to go ahead and go other places and put in work because that coach is, not being, too insecure about them and say, oh, I don't want anybody else to coach my kid or whatever. But as long as they have the support and they really get what they need in their training, I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter, but I just think it's a big benefit to, like what Josh was saying, is that you have those workout partners. You definitely have to have that combination of three things, like what Diamond said, that good environment, because the kids got to be happy. I think we touched base on that a long time ago when we talked about that. Kids got to be happy. You got to train them. You have to have good coaching. And just has to be the full package. You can't be one or the other because then it's going to suffer. And then they're not going to get the full max of what they need to be successful.
So let's take this. I don't think people usually take a question when you have two coaches on the line, and arguably one of the coaches has one of the most successful programs in the state. Give me your top three schools. If you're a parent with a successful middle schooler who's going to be coming through, who's looking for the environment that will best work generally. Of course, you got individuals, you got things to consider, but generally, what are the 3 to 5 programs that you think an accomplished middle schooler, nationally accomplished middle schooler, should be looking at?
I mean, well, then you got to actually talk by sections, depending on where they live. You know what I mean? So
Southern Section, Southern California.
Southern Section, well, I'm biased, so of course I would say
Number one,
you know,
Panther.
I would say, you know, Corona. I would also say Kennedy, and I'm pretty proud of Mike. You know, got a couple of girls in there, the Gomez sisters, and I love them. They trained in our room too. Very good kids, just overall kids, and you know, he's hardcore all about the girls too. So I think there. I also think Northview's just successful. I don't know what they do internally, so I can't really say, but I mean, they always produce, you know, pretty competitive teams. Even when it's said in, they help push us, and I know we help push them because it's even told by me by Ochoa. You know, he thanked me for helping push his girls because we go at it every year. So I would say those three. But you know what? You got big teams too. You got Jesse's team. You got a lot of girls in there. Monroe, I know it's not Southern Section, but James Monroe and Birmingham and San Fernando, they're always fully loaded. So, I mean, you got some choices according to what area you're in. But of course, if it's mainly Southern Section, I say, like I said a long time ago, bring them to Corona. I'll take care of them.
What about for you, Josh?
Pretty much, Jimmy hit all the big ones. I can't really think of any.
You don't have to necessarily go with the big ones, but you can go with the ones that you think just the coaches are doing the right things, or you can go with, I mean, because I think there's some programs that are like, because they don't have the numbers, they get overlooked. You know, I mean, I'm glad Bowers mentioned Monroe because Monroe is doing big things with smaller numbers. You know, programs out there I think that are doing the right thing, are moving in the right direction, despite the fact they don't have huge numbers. You know. So,
right, but I think like if you're coming in with that, let's like tier 1, 7th, 8th grader, you know, and you're really looking hard at a real program that is going to carry you. You know, you want somebody with proven track record and that is all in on girls. You know, as far as the support, they don't necessarily have to have a full team or 2 teams or 3 teams, but that they're going to give the girls a full schedule. And sometimes a smaller, like a school with not as many girls might be more beneficial, where you can cater more towards, it doesn't cost $4,000 to go to Napa. It costs a couple hundred because you're only getting 2 hotel rooms, you know, where you can like kind of pick and choose a la carte where you want to go to these tournaments, rather than have to worry about, okay, I got some good girls, some great girls, and some decent girls, and I got to kind of get the middle of the road to go to.
Yeah. You know what? I totally am being rude here. Diamond, I know it's late for you. So, you know what? We're going to go ahead and let you go. I totally skipped on the fact that she's in St. Louis, guys, and she's 2 hours ahead of us. So she's.
Hey, let me say one thing before she leaves. But hey, Diamond, I'm so proud of you, and I know these guys would echo the same thing. But as a coach, I'm just super proud of you of what you've done so far. And just from the first time I met you, I think you're doing awesome things. You're just a great kid all around, you know, and you're epitome of what a student athlete is all about. So I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. I love you guys.
All right, Josh, anything? Yeah, mute still, or he froze. One of the two. But okay, Diamond, not. You know what? You know, I love you. You know, you're freaking awesome. You are the original BDB.
Yes, BDB.
So no, you know that, you know, we think the world of you, and we're always, you know that, and doesn't matter if you're in St. Louis or in Russia. If you call and you need us, you know, so thank you for always being you, being everything that we wanted. We want Somar to be represented by. So always the standard. So
Thank you. Thank you.
all right, continue doing your best. We're proud of you, and we'll see you soon. Okay.
Okay. Bye, guys.
See you later.
See ya.
Thank you.
So
Hey, and Rich, I just wanted to reiterate, I don't want anybody that's watching this podcast thinking I'm being arrogant or anything when I'm talking about, Corona. It would behoove me not to even mention my team if I didn't believe what we do there. You know what I mean? That's why I talk about these other teams too and what they're doing. But I mean, results don't lie. I mean, it is what it is. But there's a lot of teams that are doing things similar, and I'm proud of everybody on those. I'm just saying, I don't want to
Stop apologizing for your success and for backing your team. If you didn't back your team, there'd be something wrong with you. I'd be concerned
right.
doing there. So, but what do you guys think are okay, obviously, I mean, Josh, I think is on the right track. Josh is saying, like, you know what, you want to know the schedule, you want to know what's going to be happening. But I think something you guys are overlooking too is like the off season. What are these clubs doing in the off season? Is it conducive to what you want also? Because you do have some programs that, they're a folk style program, and they do folk style primarily with, they do some off season, but not a lot. If you got a kid that I think wants to compete nationally in freestyle, I think that's something too you got to kind of take into account also, like, okay, what's that coach's philosophy on that? Because some schools have a history of like not really having the girls do a whole lot in the off season. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something to take into account. Obviously, the academic side of things. If you have a kid who's a good student, that should always be precedent. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you know what? This is conducive for the learning environment. And on top of that, this coach is gonna have my kid's best interest at heart. They're not looking to just put a plaque in their trophy case and use my kid to get that, but they're also looking at making a student athlete, keeping the student athlete, at level or higher, setting high standards, things like that. I think those are things that kind of go overlooked. I know for me, having to decide when I transferred my daughter, she went from Longmont High School, which didn't support girls wrestling. She was super excited to place in the CIF tournament her freshman year. And the coach was just like, no, we don't put girls up on there. That's it. And they have it to this day. And they've had other girls CIF placers, but they just don't put them up there. They got a new head coach this year. But so they may change that. But my daughter was super psyched to have her name next to her dad's. And then when they said no, she was like, okay, well, we need to reevaluate what we're doing then, Dad. Okay, fine. So when we transferred over to Lucerna, where Paul Pietrotoni was initially caught off guard, but as things came on, Paul paid for everything. He covered Napa for us. We flew to Napa every year. Paul paid for us to fly. Paul paid for us to go to Fresno. Paid for us to go. I mean, he out of his own pocket. He worked for the sheriff's department and he did a lot of consulting work for Hollywood, and he just had the kindness of his heart, just like, yeah, you know what, we got 3 girl wrestlers on our team, and took care of them. Basically it was like, hey, Ramos, here, you take the girls, and don't worry about it. So that was a big thing for us too. So those are things that we had to take into account, and things that I would take account also as a parent. Learning environment. Because yeah, you could go to some of these schools, but maybe if your kid doesn't grow up in a tough neighborhood, they might not do so well in some of the environments. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know, Jimmy, how rough is it in Corona? I mean,
it's nasty.
Yeah, I thought it was just the girls on the way you train your girls. But I went by there and I'm like, ooh, no, they got to be that way. They got to be that way.
Yeah, they're tough, man. That's why I love it.
Hey, Josh, maybe you send your daughter over to Corona. Just walking to school gets her over that hump, man. And then you got Bowers in her corner.
I already tried.
Put in a good word for you here, Jimmy.
I already tried though. Once I found out they lived by me, my heart went, it broke in half.
Hey, Josh lives so close to your school that he gets upset if he doesn't get out by 7:15 because the parking, the people dropping their kids off blocks his driveway. That's how close and he still didn't go there. So that's pretty bad.
I'm not that close.
Well, I mean, there may be others coming to his neighborhood, so I'm sure Jimmy will have the feelers out pretty good. But So we just saw the girls wrestle. Diamond was on the junior team. Did you guys happen to see the results?
I did not.
So I think we ended up with 2 medals. A lot of the girls.
Yeah, I saw some of them.
It was, people were complaining it was the worst outing. Flow Wrestling was talking about it was the worst outing for the girls. And it's tough.
I know Kilty got a medal, right? Kilty.
Animal, dude. She won it. She's an animal. Like, that girl, for Gracie to beat her by the lead that she did says a lot about Gracie, because Macy Kilty is a killer. She'll put you on your head every chance she gets, enjoys doing it, makes great highlight films. Did you guys see the Hope semifinal match by any chance?
No, I actually just saw the end.
Yeah, the buzzer beater, and it was like they didn't give I don't know if they gave it to her and they waved it off or what, but she ended up losing the match. Getting in that deep with 20 seconds left, so many opportunities, there.
Yeah.
But some of our girls had some really tough draws. Diamond drew the U23 world champ in the very first round, and that's a tough draw, and unfortunately that girl got bounced out before she could pull Diamond into Reprishaw. So that was tough. Just had
because they got to do it the old school way. They got to make it to the semis, right?
Yeah, it's like a carry system. It's
they carry them. Yeah, they got to carry them.
They got to make it to the finals. The girl you lose to has to make it to the finals, and then whoever lost to that girl gets pulled into Reprishaw and can wrestle back as high as third. So there you are, the whole tournament just sitting there praying, like, please go, please get this, please get this. I don't know. What do you think would be worse, to like have that girl lose the very next match, or to have that girl go all the way to the semis and then drop it? I don't know. I think I might want to just know. I might want to just
put me out easy, man. So don't kill me slowly.
Hey, that'd be kind of rough. I don't know, Josh. What do you think? Ryback is like on mute, doesn't realize it.
That service, I don't know what.
I don't know, man. You would think.
He's moving now. He's moving.
His on, but he's just lips are moving, but nothing's.
Yeah,
there he goes.
It's like really sketchy connection on my end, so I don't know what the deal is.
No worries. But and then you saw the boys, right? The boys. Why do you think it is? Why do you think the boys are having so much success and the girls are not? Like, what would you surmise?
I don't think it's anything in particular. I just think that it was just their time, and they've been putting a lot of work. I don't know. I don't think it's anything in particular, because our girls that we had were studs.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's just.
Well, what's crazy though is Fix getting third and Gable Stevenson getting silver. That's
he didn't get silver. He got
pretty
bounced.
Unexpected.
He didn't get silver. He got bounced out. So he didn't even medal.
Who?
Stevenson didn't medal. He got bounced out in the quarterfinals.
I thought he lost. He lost in the finals.
Nope, lost in the quarterfinals. Yeah, lost the quarterfinals. That guy lost in the semifinals. Knocked him out. So you got a 3-time world champion who didn't face. So that was pretty rough. But they still got a lot. They picked up a ton of hardware. So there's got to be something there. I don't know what it is, the developmental wise. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of interesting to me. It's like, why are we so short on that side of it? Why can't we get through this? And get more of these in there. On another note, Helen's gonna wrestle Alex Hendricks for the final team spot, and it came out that I guess Hendricks doesn't want to wrestle on Sunday because it's her religion. She's a Mormon. Yeah, she doesn't want to wrestle on Sunday. Like, how do you guys feel about that? Like, the possibility that somebody who doesn't wrestle on Sunday, I don't know if she doesn't wrestle on Sundays or she just prefers not to.
No, she don't wrestle on Sundays. That even happened at I forgot what nationals. It was on a Sunday, and her dad had mentioned it. They just don't do anything on Sunday. So I thought about that too, and remember when he said that. So I was like, man, how how they're going to handle any of these, even if they're international competitions. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Are you going to just say I can't do it? And I don't know. But I totally respect, their decision. But it's not gonna give her the opportunity that she needs to, if she wants to wrestle worldwide, that is. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because she's going to school to get a degree. So I'm sure as long as she gets that, it's all good.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's, I don't have a problem with it on our trials, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, that's the job you're applying for, basically. You're gonna
right, and they're not gonna make an exception for one person. You know what I mean? Because of that, it is what it is. So
yeah, so yeah. I wish Alex all the luck in the world, but I just wonder in the long run how that's gonna pan out for her.
Right.
I would never ask somebody to compromise their faith,
Yeah, right. I agree.
That's what you're called for, then that's, I totally get it.
That's why I said college wise it's not going to affect her. Is she going to do what she's going to do? She's going to kick ass like she's doing now and get her degree, which is the most important thing right now. And if she's not interested in doing anything international or anything, then she don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. I'll tell you right now, like talking to her,
she's a good kid.
Yeah, super. So, either way, I think we're going to be in good hands. Helen or Alex. Alex, I think, is the future. Once Helen, decides that she's done. Was Helen's camp this weekend? Her clinic?
Yeah, at a Raining Lab.
The Rain Lab, yeah. Josh, did you go? Did you head over to Rain for Helen's clinic?
For what?
For Helen's clinic? Did you head over to Helen's clinic at Rain? I don't know if Josh could hear us because it's connection again. It's terrible. I wanted to check it out, but I got pulled in. I was kind of busy this week. So, and then you should see our man J.O. going after Frank Molinaro this week. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Did they wrestle?
They've wrestled in the past, and my understanding.
Okay, he's going after him like he was going after the Zane train.
Yeah, and I guess.
I actually love it. I love it. I love his confidence, and he's a warrior, man. And but then again, we got to see him wrestle firsthand, 3 feet away. You know what I mean? And he's just super aggressive, and he's one of those guys.
Well, Jimmy, I think you're misconstruing something there, and this would have been my follow-up question. But Jo has a history by Flow Wrestling account, I'll say, okay, that he lights up everybody going into a big match, and then once he gets that big match, you don't see his offense, okay? But then you look at that event, the shootout, right? And did he hold back at all?
No way.
Like, he let it fly, right?
Yeah.
I think that was a big part of that. Was one, Jordan always wants to put on a show. He was all about it. He came to the clinic beforehand, did a half an hour with the kids each athlete did a half hour, and really wanted to entertain the kids. But on top of that too is we've structured it, I think, the best way possible to get the most out of wrestling. They took a base salary, 50% bonus to win, and a 50% bonus to win before regulation. And 5-point moves are worth 2. That's why you see that video going, is that 2? Is that? And the ref's like, no. He's like, damn. And he goes back to the center, and his face is bloody. And he busted his head open, and he's back in the center again, ready to go. That, I think, was the incentive for him, was that he was going to double his money and was about to make, pretty good chunk of change for 3 minutes worth of work. And I think that structure is going to lead more to Sports Center highlights, along with if the guys at Sports Center could read those tweets and then transfer over to the match highlights, I think that's more marketable. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to see it happen when he was hitting up Zane, and I didn't see him hitting up Frank at all. But when I hear him hitting up Zane, I'm like, hell yeah, that's something that I would want to see.
Let me see if I can find the tweet, dude. He was really going after Frank Molinaro pretty hard because Frank just signed on to the draft for AWL.
But I think they have a beef going back quite a bit between those two about something, and I don't know what it's
Jordan Oliver and Frank Molinaro.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Yeah, he was going at him pretty hard, and I got to scroll through a little bit. He says, done tweeting at Gorilla Hulk 149. Sign that contract, all or nothing, and we're all set to give me the business. AWL today. Let's go. Let's see here. At Gorilla Hulk 149. You know he likes winning, and now he's almost has a commitment due to college roots. You know we put the whole check on it. So I guess he's willing to put all his money, like go back and forth, all or nothing. So Frank put out, pick me, Magic Man PSU. I'll show that dude J.O. the business, right? And then the J.O. responded with, you had the chance to show the business a couple times, but you can get it too. You could get it here too, no problem. They wanted at Zane Train PSU. It's got a guy running. He's running. But always down to hand out an L. 0-3, I'm down to make it 0-4. Easy money. Hashtag easy money. It's like, I love Jordan, dude. This kid is, I think he's good for the sport as much as.
So Gorilla Hulk 149, that's Frank Molinaro.
That's Molinaro, yeah. And Jo is like giving him the business, dude. Like, just bring it. And which I think is funny, you know why? Because if you're at any tournament where Frank Molinaro is wrestling, I think that guy, I would venture to guess his shirt time was probably 2 minutes from the time he entered the building till his shirt was off, and he didn't put it back on till maybe a minute before he left the building.
Right.
The whole time, and Jordan.
So did you read that one? Maybe I missed it. It says done tweeting. He goes, telling him, sign that contract, all or nothing. We are all set for you to give me the business.
Yeah, he's willing to put his whole check on the line. Like that. Come on, man. Like, how could you say that's bad for wrestling? You know, like, I mean, that obviously is on a professional level.
I want to see it.
And I mean, Zane turned down, from what I heard, close to or up to $10,000 for a match. So, I mean, and that's the thing too. Jordan was like, "Dude, takedowns? You're gonna give me money to do takedowns? Dude, give me that money. That's my money."
Yeah, right.
You know, I think we may need to do that again. To be honest, I got to get some investors together, and Andy Bart's number. Tell him to give me a call. So maybe get a hold of Bill Gates or somebody who wants to jump in on wrestling. But yeah, I think that's talking it up. I think is great. You know, like I said, ESPN soundbite stuff like that. I think are in the future. So
it's the best for it.
Yeah, for sure. So, but what do you got for us, Josh? Anything new going on your side?
No, that's been a kind of a slow week. Besides, U23 Worlds. I don't have anything going. We're starting into preseason now. We had Somar tournament today, right?
Yeah, today.
And then we had the individual section USA wrestling tournaments that are starting to, the local ones, preseason kicking up. So I think people are starting to trickle in. How were your numbers at yours?
I got to go back and count. We were probably about 100 roughly. We had a lot of six-person brackets.
We'll be there at Santa Ana.
Sweet.
Next week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think, having Jimmy there with his girls, like he's got freaking plethora of girls. And then Byers usually has a pretty big team. Matt Furr's bringing it, dude. He wants to win the team title. He's like, dude, I'm coming for that team title, like, because we're doing the series title. So he's coming for that. Birmingham had a lot of girls today. Kennedy went to Arroyo yesterday and then doubled up and went to the takedown tournament today.
I saw that.
some good wrestlers showed up, dude. You had Madison Camp, national champ. You had Katie Gomez was there. Hinjosa was there. You know, Anya Drury was there. Leah Rollins was there. Yeah, I mean, you had some hammers coming through. I know Monroe's coming to the next one. I know. Yeah, I mean, there's that's some good matches today. Shout out to my little sister, by the way. She's in 7th grade, and she took 3rd, but she's coming along. I'm super proud of that kid, man. I mean, just she's tough little kid, and she's been wrestling for a year now, and it's just fun seeing her come through, you know. And
Nice.
like, is that your niece? And I'm like, God, never when I look good enough that would be my kid, maybe. Now everybody's like trying to be nice, act like it's not my granddaughter. So, but yeah, so that's kind of cool to see that. Josh, are we gonna do any more of the preseason weight classes? Because I know we were doing that for a minute. We kind of stopped.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to pick that up next week because I think we left off at 116, 121. I think.
Yeah, I think we're.
Unless you have it in front
So
of you.
I got it in front of me right now. So 116, Rory graduated. Oathman graduated. Alyssa Valdivius was the highest returning placer. So she would probably come in at number 1. Melanie Mendoza would be number 2. Nia Gaines would be number 3 from Bear Creek. Number 4 would be Gloria Gonzalez from Paramount. And number 5 would be Priscilla Ramirez from Valencia High School. So let's see here.
Gosh, Priscilla didn't graduate already? Could have swore she graduated.
She's been around for a while, huh? She's gone to everything for a while. I mean, she's going to the Somar stuff, and then she goes to Lawa stuff now, and yeah, so she'll be coming in as a senior this year. So she's got one more year coming through. And then 121s, the top 2 girls graduate with Gracie and Caitlin. Then you got Adriana Lopez from Upper Lake as the number 1. Let me see here. Carla Rivera graduated from Birmingham. So you got Kelly Escamilla. She should come in at number 2. Kelly, dude, Kelly's a.
Yeah, she'll do well. She's only a sophomore.
Yeah, Kelly, you know, we saw her at our Somar events for a minute. And yeah, she's just talented. The kid works real hard. Coach Lou does a great job with her over there. You know, that her sister was a state placer back in the day.
I remember her sister.
Kelly's, you know, is stepping in and gonna do really good. I mean, that's big as a freshman to come in like that. That was really big. And that's it. Those are the only 2 girls. The rest of the weight class is cleared out. So that's a weight class that's open. Let's see if we can see who was the if there was anybody in maybe the blood round of those 2 that let's see here. 5, 6, 7, and 8. So let's see here. Okay, so that's 7 and 8. Okay, so blood round, senior. So you got the girl from Central Section 2, Greta Gustafson. She was a freshman last year. Heaven Jerez. So those girls should fill in at 116.
Oh, Heaven she'll have a breakout year this year.
Yeah, Heaven. You know, she came into wrestling from jiu-jitsu, from Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Was just kind of finding her stride last year. Yeah, I think she's going to be okay. So that 116 weight class is going to fill in pretty good, especially when you add in some of these other girls that are coming in that are pretty tough. You know, you're going to have some hammers coming in also.
I have a sophomore that's she's gonna do pretty well this year. I'm gonna have her go against some top dogs at the beginning just to get smacked around a little bit. You know, I want her to. So we'll see what's up.
Nice. And then Josh, your daughter will be in there, huh? Be in that 116 area, 121. She's been hitting the squat rack pretty hard, looking like a thoroughbred when she goes out there. So
yeah, we'll be somewhere in that vicinity. She's been lifting hard, so we'll see.
Should be nice. And just seeing Alyssa too, you know, I personally think Valdivia could have been in the finals last year too. She drew Rory, I think, in the semis. And Rory, if you're not ready for Rory, she can overwhelm you quickly, you know.
Yeah.
I think that was probably something Alyssa had in the back of her mind. It seemed kind of weird having her in there and not ranked because Alyssa.
Well, I'm surprised that they missed her period. I remember when Richard told me, because she beat Monica in the finals at my tournament, and they had my tournament information. So
I think it's because she took a loss due to the injury at Josh's tournament.
Yeah, but she also teched the girl that was the number 2 seed at state.
Yeah.
And they overlooked that too. I mean, I don't know how you overlook that. Like, there's 10 guys that are supposed to know high school girls wrestling sitting in a room. You would think somebody would speak up and say something, but probably not to protect them, one of their best interests, as you say.
Right. I agree.
So, I mean, let's go over that for a second. How are the states, the top, because we only see the top 2 girls. Who is it, or not who is it? I don't want to call anybody out, but how does that process work, Jimmy, for people that don't know, people who are coming in?
Well, I mean, it's all formula, number one, to begin with, after the 1 and 2s. I mean, it's still formula for them. Mm-hmm. We just keep the 1 and 2 separate, and we try to keep they try to keep the section separate, which I think they do a pretty good job, because there was times where us as Southern Section could have complained, and no matter what, you're not going to make anybody happy. But when it ends up being a formula, I mean, the best thing to do is try to be one of the top girls, So when you have, for example, Missy and Suhei, right? I told Suhei it didn't really matter about this match, because no matter what, you're going to be opposite of her. And to me, you're the 2 best girls in the state. Mm-hmm. And our Southern Section, for example, in the finals, they separate those 1 and 2s. The 2 and 3 are usually on the same side, and the 1 and 4 are usually on the same side. So, and when I look at the formulas, and I really dissect them a lot, because I try to predict who we're going to have where, and, and how it's going to meet up. And honestly, they do a pretty decent job. Yeah, Rosie, because she was she never went to state before, and yeah, she took 3rd in our masters, but she didn't, she hadn't done anything before. So her drawing Aleda second round, I was like, I anticipated that, right? And I was like, okay, well, that's cool, but you're going to win 7 more matches. You're going to come back and take 3rd. And sure enough, she did that, and then fortunately for the other girl that Suhei was beating 6-1 before she got hurt, that could have been, if she would have beat her, then she would have been in the finals with Missy, and no telling what happened after that. But
Garcia's back this year too,
right? No, she was a senior.
Last year, and she got injured.
Who?
Norte Vista.
Sorry. No, oh yeah. But I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about Suhei.
No, but I'm just thinking back. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Monica's only Garcia. She's only a junior. So. Yeah.
So she's gonna fill into that weight class too. I mean, she was a state placer 2 years ago, coming in this year.
And she'll be 16s or 11s, but I think she's probably gonna go 16s.
Yeah,
and she'll be around there.
She's gonna be hungry, that's for sure. Because
no doubt.
She feels slighted by that injury.
And she quit cheerleading. She was cheerleading, and then she was wrestling, and she just dedicated herself to nothing but wrestling this year. So
that's dangerous. That's dangerous, No, well, good. So we'll see. I think the next podcast we're gonna have. I want to have our dream schedule put together, and what the tournaments we're gonna use to do our own rankings. So, yeah, and don't worry, Bowers. We can't overlook the quality that comes through these tournaments. So we're going to be very thorough with that. Hey, you want to be ranked in our rankings? These are the tournaments you need to hit. These are the ones that you need to go do, because we believe that this is where the talent goes. You don't want to see somebody get ranked who's undefeated, but they went to tournaments where they missed everybody.
Right. And the good thing about that is that that usually doesn't pass us, not in the Southern Section at least, because I'm in those meetings, and I know people complain here and there, and sometimes it's a fight, man, at certain weights. But I mean, our tournament, for example, is always tough. Even whether we have the numbers or not, it's pretty tough. And having the teams that just got confirmed so far, I got 52 teams confirmed. I mean, I'm going to say at least 40 of them have state placers, multiple state placers, and state qualifiers already. So I'm just like, I appreciated that some of them are coming back, because some of them just weren't ready last year. And they're like, man, I don't have it this year. So I don't want to go all the way down there and our kids get their ass kicked, they want to be competitive. So I'm pretty excited about what we have in store.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. I think it's a real neat idea. I don't know if it was gym problems or not big enough, but you're having your tournament at the rinks, which is a indoor hockey arena for those that don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great, huge. Are you getting the whole venue or half the venue, or what are you getting?
I have exclusive to the whole thing, and I met with the owner and the board of directors, and the owner, most of the owner, and his Ben, and the guy's super awesome guy, man. And when I told him that, I'm looking for one of the best venue because these kids deserve it. I think everybody should be trying to do what's best for wrestling, period. Make it more attractive. And
you're trying to build the Temecula of girls wrestling. That's what you're trying to do. Trying to get it
right. And I'll tell you, man, he was excited just as much as I was. And then I went back again with my wife because she likes to picture where we're going to put things and everything. And I'll tell you right now, man,
do you have enough exits for Ramos to leave the building, though?
Hey, you know what I love about it? And what I love about it is that Ben said, I have exclusive to everything, the whole building, and which means there's like 9 to 10 team rooms. So the first 8, because we'll have the first 8 teams that pay and they're full teams will have those rooms, and they're awesome, man. So the kids can just relax and not be part of the madness, and another rink that, since there's 2 big ones, and it can literally fit 10 mats, but I'm only going 8. And then on the other rink is going to be all vendors or anybody that pays for a table or a booth there for 2 days. And then the other side is going to be warm-up mats, so the kids are going to have warm-up mats, and it's super big. So there's seating all over the place, but I was going to email the coaches to tell them, hey, if they want to bring even like extra chairs to ones that don't want to sit next to the plexiglass, right? They just want to sit against walls or whatever, just so they can be wherever they're going to be. They can go and sit and just relax. How wrestling is. Everybody they'll build their own little spot.
Yeah.
So, and then the VIP seating that we have, it's a big balcony that oversees all 8 mats, and it looks pretty awesome. Man, when I pictured it, I was like, man, this looks like you're looking at the state championships, because I was picturing the mats there. So then, of course, we're going to go single mat spotlight when it comes to the finals and have all the teams in there. So, I was pretty excited. I got a little emotional about it because I was really trying to find something good. Yeah, we're going to probably work something out, negotiating with Santiago to get it. But there were some internal things that, regarding money that I wasn't willing to do, and
hang on, you're in the district. What do you mean money?
No, it's some internal thing. So I was like, man, I'm not tripping. I'm not, they have to remember that this is a fundraiser for my kids,
Didn't you just donate money to them?
Yeah, to the wrestling program. Yeah.
That went away somewhere.
Well, we'll say what now?
That money you donated went away somewhere.
No, I don't know where it went. I don't care what they did. All I know is I gave them $2,500. So whatever they do with whatever they do.
They don't know what happened to it. The people I talked to, and I talked to you about it.
Well, yeah, and you know what? And I called people over there regarding it and put them on the spot, because I got calls. And I'm not mentioning any names, but I got calls as soon as they saw our venue and said, "Hey, man, this is pretty awesome. Can we use it?" And
you gave them $2,500, and then they
and honestly,
he said, "I'll pay you $2,500 for it."
But see, the thing is, everything, me, man, I always try to do the right thing, and I'm not going to try to screw over anybody or let anybody screw over my kids, because ultimately, this funds our season. and there's a lot of teams that I take care of because I know they're struggling in their programs and everything. And I'm not trying to leave them out, especially when they got tough competitors, and I'm not trying to screw anybody. So it was a blessing for us, you know what I mean? And because I truly believe, knock on wood, I prayed for this. And for anybody that's not religious, I don't mean to offend you or anything, but I prayed for this, that we would land a bigger and better venue. And I even got a call from La Sierra University asking us to come back if we wanted to, right, to renegotiate. And I was like, no, thank you. I believe that there's a bigger thing coming our way. And, fortunately, it took care of us, and I was excited about it. And the owner told me to if I would put it on social media, and he was sharing on his social media, and we're going to make this a multi-year thing. And so it's not going to be just this year again, just this year, then we have to find another spot. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It's good. I'm also excited that we're going to go now to a 2-day tournament at the Esperanza tournament. So that will be good. We got a lot of teams pre-registering, calling, and I kind of made it happen. We're going to might have to switch gyms from Friday to Saturday, but we'll get it done. And I just hate running into that 5-match rule, and you got some tough kids that should be wrestling back, and they can't wrestle, and it's disappointing.
Well,
right.
It screws up the seeds and everything coming into regionals because your tournament's so late, and it screws everything up because that kid only took 5th. Well, no, we ran into a 5-match rule. The kid had to be knocked down, But Jimmy, before we move on from that, can you go ahead and give out the number 1, the owner's name, number 2, the location again, because we really want to support those people who are supporting wrestling.
Yeah. Hold on one second. His name's Ben Barrett. He's the owner, and it's called the Rinks Corona Inline. And I have it already on social media, but if anybody wants to know the address, it's 4235 Prado Road in the city of Corona. So what's even more exciting is that it's not corporate, they're mom and pop owned. So it's good to really help family owned, help them. And in turn, of course, they're helping us. And he loved it because he's like, man, I have our own homeschool, because it's literally 5 minutes away from us, right off of Green River. And I'll be sending out people maps too, and I'll probably be posting it on the board because it's really secluded. It's like because it's big. It's an industrial place. So, he, like I said, man, I'm glad that he's willing to open his doors for us and telling us that, he wants us here every year, and to have the whole venue and have a full restaurant, for example, and everything that we need. Restrooms all over the place. So,
it's a little tricky. If you ever drive the 91, you see it on the 91, but you try to get to it if you've never been there. My nephew's there, so once you find it, it's pretty easy. But GPS.
That's why I'm gonna put a map. Yeah, if you use Waze, you're cool. Or maybe I don't know about Google Maps, but if you use Waze, but I will print up a map to kind of make it like dummy proof for people like, that can't really understand the maps or whatever. But once you go under the bridge and you get there, it's all good, man. And there's tons of parking and everything. So even the buses, because I do got a lot of out of area teams coming. So for them and their buses or charter buses, whatever, it's super huge. So it's gonna be good all the way around. And it's controlled air conditioning set at 75 degrees. He showed me everything on it, and it felt good just being in there. And they had a couple hockey games going on. So again, man, I'm trying to up the game, not so much for us, but just because the kind of competition that we have already, and the respect to the teams that show up, and the clubs, teams, everybody that wants to be part of the Queen of the Hill and really help build Queen of the Hill, because honestly, I didn't do it by myself, right? I started it 6 years ago, and if it wasn't for the teams that believed in us, of course, trying to run the best tournament we can, people keep coming back, and I'm appreciative of it.
Nice. All righty, fellas. Well, we're gonna go ahead and call it a wrap on this episode. I think we got a lot out there today. Congratulations, Jimmy, again. That's an awesome venue, an awesome story that getting it out there. So I'm happy that it's building. We had a good time last year.
Thank you.
And that's including the fact that we took a hard loss. I mean, we still had an awesome time. So, and I got shown the door too. So, and I'm still saying that we had a good time. So,
well, one of your girls won it, and you had 2 girls in the finals, right?
yeah, 2 in the finals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was good. You know, we have a good time there. So, and I mean, hey, I could just walk over to Josh's house if I got to use the bathroom. It's so close, so it'll be awesome. But all right, fellas, you guys have a good night. We're gonna go ahead and cut this off. So let's get it going.
All right, thanks for having me again, man. Appreciate it.
No worries, brother.